Hello and welcome to our video. In this one, we're going to be going over the different formulas for the volume of different solids. So I'm just going to go through all of these in this one video, and I'll put timestamps for the different sections. So there will be 4 different sections that we go through. So the first kind that we have are prisms and cylinders. So the formula is capital B times H. And we have to remember that capital B stands for area of the base, and H is the height of the prism or the cylinder. So we'll just put height of the solid. So this first one, this is a rectangular prism. So our base has to be a rectangle. So I'm just going to choose the top one here. So first thing we have to do is find the area of that. So big B, okay, this is a rectangle, so the formula is base times height. Now this is base and height of that rectangle. So it's 2 by 7. So 2 times 7, 14. Now the height of this prism is the distance between the two bases. So between this one and the matching one that's on the bottom, the distance between them is 14. So the volume is area of the base times the height. So 14 times 14, which is 196, and it's yards cubed because this is volume. Okay, next one. This is a triangular prism. So because it is a triangular prism, our base has to be this triangle. So we have to find the area of the triangle, and then we multiply it by the height, so the distance between the two triangles. So big B, in this case, is 1/2 base times height, and this is the base and the height of the triangle. So it's 1/2 times 11 times 4, which is 22. The height to the prism is 6. So the volume is area of the base times the height, so 22 times 6, which is 132, and it's feet cubed because this is volume. Okay, this next one, this is a cylinder. On the cylinder, our base is this circle. So to find the area of that, so the formula, we have to use the area of a circle formula. So it's pi r squared. So pi times the radius squared, so pi times 8 squared, which is 64 pi. I'm going to leave this as 64 pi right now because we're going to get our answer both in terms of pi and also to the nearest tenth. Now the height of this cylinder is 14. So volume is area of the base times the height. So 64 pi times 14. To get it in terms of pi, I'm just going to multiply 64 and 14. And so that gives us 896. And we still have that pi. And then to get that to the nearest tenth, just do 896 times pi. And you get 2,814.9. And this is feet cubed. So that is the formula for the volume of prisms and cylinders. It's just the area of the base times the height. That's it. All right, next kind we will do here are pyramids and cones. Okay, pyramids and cones. They are 1/3 area of the base times the height. So again, big B is area of the base, and H is the height of the pyramid or cone. Now your height is always going to be perpendicular to your base. So this height of this pyramid right here is 35. So first step, area of the base, because that's one thing we have to figure out. Okay, on the bottom we've got this rectangle here. It's 22 by 21. So it's base times height, so 22 times 21, which is 462. So that's the area of that base. Now we need the height of the actual pyramid. It's 35. So our volume is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So 1/3 times 462 times 35. And then when you type that all in the calculator, you get 5,390, and it's yards cubed. Because volume is finding out how many little cubes you can fit inside a shape. Alright, on this one we have a cone. It's the same formula as a pyramid, except the big B, that base formula, we're going to change that. So since it is a cone, our base is a circle. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, this 4 is our diameter, so our radius is really 2. So we have pi times 2 squared, which is 4 pi. Okay, and then we're going to leave it as 4 pi so that we can convert it at the end. Now the height of our cone is 12. So volume is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So 1/3 times 4 pi times 12. When you're plugging this in the calculator, all you have to do is do 12 times 4 times 1/3 to keep it in terms of pi. You just leave the pi part out. So that gives us 16 pi, and then you can plug in 16 times pi and you get 50.3, and these are inches cubed. So depending upon what the assignment says, you'll need to do either in terms of pi or to the nearest tenth. Okay, last one for pyramids and cones. We have our pyramid here. It's a triangular pyramid. So we have to use the formula for the area of a triangle for the base, area of the base. So it's 1/2 base times height. This is base and height of the triangle alone. So the base of the triangle is 12. The height of the triangle is at a right angle to that base is 10. So the area of the base is 60. Now the height of my actual pyramid is 17. So the volume is 1/3 times 60 times 17. So when you plug that in, you get 340 feet cubed. So just the key thing to remember for all these volume formulas for prisms and cylinders and pyramids and cones, big B is area of the base. So I just always want you to concentrate on finding that area of the base first before you have to do any other calculations, because that will help you to not get the height of the prism or the height of the pyramid confused with the height of the base. All right, next kind we have are spheres and hemispheres. So the formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, and it's cubed because we're doing volume. So all you need to know about your sphere is that radius. So our radius is 3, so our volume is 4/3 times pi times r cubed, so 3 cubed. Now we're going to leave this in terms of pi, so all I need you to do in the calculator is 3 cubed times 4/3. And when you multiply that, you get 36, and you've got to put our pi. That's yards cubed. So then just do 36 times pi, and you get 113.1, again, yards cubed. So that's a sphere. Okay, and this one here, this 18, that's our diameter, so our radius is 9. So the volume is 4/3 times pi times r, so 9 cubed. Again, do 9 cubed times 4/3, and you'll get 972. You have to put the pi. That's inches cubed. And then do 972 times pi, and you get 3,053.6 inches cubed. Okay, the last kind we have here, this is a hemisphere. A hemisphere is only half a sphere. So basically, you take the volume of your sphere and you divide it by 2. So we've got, so our radius is 27. So we have 4/3 times pi times 27 cubed. And since we only want half the sphere, we divide this by 2. And notice that 4/3, that's all in the top. So basically, you could calculate the volume of the sphere and then take that answer and divide by 2. But you want to make sure that you don't put the pi in, because we need to leave in terms of pi. So what I would do in the calculator, I would do 27 cubed times 4/3. I'd press enter, and then I would take that answer and I would divide by 2. And when you do that, you get 13,122, and it's still pi because I didn't plug in pi, and that's feet cubed. And so then when you do take this and multiply the pi, you get 41,224 feet cubed. So that's it. All right. Now we'll go to composite figures here. We've got 2 examples. Volume of the composite figures is a little bit easier than surface area because you're either adding or you're subtracting. And you don't have to really worry about, kind of what's overlapping and what's not. So this first one, we have a pyramid and we have a rectangular prism. So our total surface area would be volume of the pyramid plus volume of the prism. So we have to calculate those 2 things separate. So let's do volume of the pyramid. Okay, it's going to be 1/3 area of the base times the height. So we have to calculate area of the base. So this is the base of the pyramid. So right here. So we can see it's a rectangle. So it's base times height. Okay, and the base of it right here is 10. And the height, or the width of it, is 4. So 10 times 4, which is 40. Now we have to look at the height of the pyramid itself. So how tall is this pyramid? It's 4 feet tall. So the volume of the pyramid, it's 1/3 times 40 times 4, which when you plug that in, you will get 53.3, and I just rounded that to the nearest 10th, feet cubed. Okay, so that's the pyramid. Now we need the volume of the prism. So it's area of the base times the height. So the area of the base of the prism, again, we've got this, we have to use the same base since that's where they're stacked. So it's base times height because it's a rectangle. So again, 10 times 4. Now the height of our prism, how tall is it? It's 3. So the volume is 40 times 3, which is 120. So now all we have to do to find the total is to take the pyramid, so 53.3, and add to it the prism, so 120. And then when you add those together, you get 173.3 feet cubed. And that would be your total. Okay, on this one, this is one where you're going to see that they want you to find the volume of the triangular prism without this cylinder. So we will have the volume of the prism minus the volume of the cylinder. So we'll calculate those 2 things separately and then subtract them. So the volume of the prism. Okay, it's a prism, so it's area of the base times height. This is a triangular prism, so our base is this triangle. So we can see the height of it is 5, and the base of the triangle is 6. So it's 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 times 5 times 6. So that's 30 divided by 2, 15. So the area of the triangle is 15. Now the height of the prism is 4. So the volume of the prism is area of the base, so 15, times the height, which is 4. So 15 times 4, that's 60. Now we need the volume of the cylinder. So again, it's a cylinder, so it's area of the base times the height. It's a cylinder, so the area of the base is pi r squared. If you look at your cylinder here, I'm just going to erase this marks really quick so we can see. This line going across is 2 feet. That's our diameter. So our radius is 2 divided by 2, which is just 1. So pi times 1 squared, which is just 1 pi, just pi. We're going to leave that as that right there. Now the height of the cylinder, how far is it from circle to circle? Well, it's the same distance across as the prism. It's 4. So the volume of our cylinder, okay, it's going to be area of the base, so pi, times the height, 4. So 4 pi. Okay, and since we're probably not going to have our answer in terms of pi, and especially since this doesn't have pi, we're going to go ahead and do 4 times pi in the calculator, and you'll get 12.56. But since this is the only other number we're going to have with a decimal in it, you can round it now. So it'll round to 12.6. So now our total volume is the prism, 60, minus the cylinder, 12.6. So 60 minus 12.6 is 47.4 feet cubed. All right, so that's the gist of it. That's going through all the formulas of the volume for any different kind of shape that we're going to give you guys.